Buckle up, because today is shaping up to be one of those wild weather days where we are dealing with two completely different seasons at the same time. Across the Deep South, atmospheric ingredients are coming together for what could become a significant severe weather outbreak this afternoon and evening. At the exact same moment, parts of Colorado are getting absolutely buried under heavy snow from a late-season winter storm that has already dumped over a foot in the mountains. This is weather at its most extreme. So let's get right into the forecast. All right, here's the setup for today. The Storm Prediction Center has outlined an enhanced risk of severe weather covering a large area from eastern Louisiana through central Mississippi and into west central Alabama. Cities like Jackson, Mississippi, Meridian, Hattiesburg, and areas around Birmingham are all included in this level 3 out of 5 risk. Surrounding that enhanced area, you have got a slight risk stretching all the way from eastern Texas through Tennessee, and even a marginal risk that extends from the Carolinas back towards San Antonio. The main concerns today are going to be tornadoes and very large hail. Damaging winds are certainly on the table as well, but the setup today really favors rotating supercells that could produce intense tornadoes, some possibly long-tracked. We are talking about a potentially dangerous situation, especially for folks in central and southern Mississippi, where atmospheric parameters are extremely favorable for significant tornadoes. If you are in Louisiana, Mississippi, Alabama, or western Tennessee, today is a day to stay weather aware and have multiple ways to receive warnings. Now, what is driving all of this? We have got a strong upper-level trough positioned over the western United States that is forcing a surface low and cold front to push eastward across the Mid-South. Ahead of this boundary, deep moisture is surging northward out of the Gulf of Mexico, with dew points climbing into the upper 60s to near 70 degrees. When you combine that rich moisture with strong daytime heating, you get substantial instability. But instability alone does not create tornadoes. What makes today particularly concerning is the wind shear. We have got extremely strong winds aloft, and when you pair that with excellent low-level wind shear and significant helicity values, you create an environment where any storm that can tap into this setup will have the potential to rotate violently. The Storm Prediction Center has highlighted significant tornado parameters in the 4 to 6 range across parts of Mississippi, and those are values that historically correspond with strong to violent tornadoes. The question today is going to be how quickly the cloud cover breaks. If we get enough sunshine to destabilize the atmosphere by early to mid-afternoon, discrete supercells will likely fire up, and that is when the tornado threat becomes very serious. Let me walk you through the timing for today, because knowing when storms will hit your area is critical. This morning, we are seeing some scattered showers and a few thunderstorms across parts of eastern Texas, Louisiana, and northern Mississippi. These early storms are not the main event. They might produce some small hail, but the real action is going to hold off until this afternoon. By around 1 in the afternoon, expect thunderstorm activity to become more numerous across eastern Mississippi and northern Alabama. At this point, the primary threats will be isolated damaging wind gusts and hail. But keep a close eye on any development along the Mississippi River Valley during this time frame, because if storms can get their act together there, you are going to see supercells with rotation developing quickly. I think the window from 2 sounds to 3Y is when things really start to get organized. Supercells will begin to take shape near the Mississippi and Louisiana border, and any cell that shows rotation in this environment is going to be capable of producing tornadoes. One critical thing I need to mention: the precipitable water values are extremely high today, which means any tornadoes that develop will very likely be rain-wrapped. You will not be able to see them coming. Do not go outside to try and spot these storms. If a tornado warning is issued for your area, get to your safe place immediately. As we push toward 4 now and 5 now in the afternoon, I expect multiple discrete supercells to be ongoing across central Mississippi, and this is likely when the tornado threat peaks. The corridor from Jackson southward toward Hattiesburg and eastward toward Meridian is going to be under the gun. These storms will have the potential to produce very large hail, possibly baseball-sized, along with strong tornadoes. Any supercell that remains isolated in this environment could easily produce an EF2 or stronger tornado. There is even the possibility of violent tornadoes if conditions come together perfectly. Up toward Birmingham, storms will also be firing, but those will be a bit north of the warm sector, so the main threats there will be large hail and damaging winds rather than tornadoes. By 6Y to 7 Sao, storms will start to cluster together more, but do not let your guard down. Any supercell that can stay ahead of the main cluster will still carry a significant tornado risk. The area from Monroe, Louisiana, down through central Mississippi is where I would expect the most intense activity during the early evening hours. Once we get to around 8 and 9 how, the storm mode is going to transition. Storms will begin to form into more of a line, and when that happens, the tornado threat will decrease somewhat, but the damaging wind threat is going to surge. If you are in areas like Columbus, Mississippi, Tuscaloosa, and even into Atlanta, Georgia, you need to be prepared for a squall line with widespread damaging wind gusts between 60 and 75 miles per hour. Secure any outdoor furniture, bring in trampolines, and make sure loose items are put away. This line of storms will be moving through during the late evening hours, and it is going to be loud. By around midnight, the severe weather threat will begin to wind down across Georgia as the line weakens. However, southern Alabama and southern Mississippi could still see some strong to severe storms lingering into the overnight hours. There might even be an isolated tornado threat over in far northern Florida during the early morning hours on Thursday. Most of the activity should be wrapped up by sunrise Thursday, with just some leftover rain showers and maybe a rumble of thunder here and there. Now, switching gears completely, let's talk about the winter storm that is hammering Colorado. This is not your typical May weather. A strong upper-level low combined with upslope flow on the east side of the Rockies is creating significant snowfall across the Front Range and the mountains. As of this evening, locations like Estes Park and Rocky Mountain National Park have already picked up 15 to 20 inches of snow, and it is still coming down. Denver has been dealing with a mix of rain and snow, but the snow is starting to stick now that temperatures have dropped. The National Weather Service has winter storm warnings in effect for much of the Front Range, including the Denver metro area, and they are calling for snow accumulations of 3 to 6 inches in the city, with much higher totals in the foothills and mountains. Some areas above 8,000 feet could see more than 2 feet of snow by the time this wraps up Wednesday afternoon. Travel is going to be extremely difficult across the northern mountains and along Interstate 70. Strong winds are also going to be an issue, creating near blizzard conditions at times in the higher elevations. If you have travel plans in Colorado, you need to reconsider or at least be prepared for major delays. Looking beyond today, Thursday should be mostly quiet across the country as the severe weather threat shifts offshore and the Colorado snowstorm finally moves out. On Friday, I am watching the Gulf Coast, particularly around Houston and Louisiana, for the possibility of some scattered thunderstorms. The severe weather potential looks low, but it is worth monitoring. There could also be a few isolated storms across parts of Kansas, Missouri, and Oklahoma, but I am not expecting anything significant there either. Saturday is when our next round of severe weather will set up. I am eyeing the central and southern plains for isolated to scattered severe thunderstorms. The main threats will be large hail and damaging winds, with an isolated tornado threat also on the table. This looks like a more run-of-the-mill severe weather day rather than a major outbreak, but if you are in Oklahoma, Kansas, or northern Texas, keep an eye on the forecasts as we get closer. Sunday, that threat shifts eastward. Right now, there is a lot of uncertainty about how organized the severe weather will be, but areas from Alabama and Georgia through the Carolinas and even into Kentucky and Tennessee might need to watch for at least some scattered severe storms. It is too early to say if this will be a significant event, but it is definitely something to keep on your radar. Then on Monday, the storm system will push into the northeast. This will be a powerful low-pressure system, and while it is not going to bring much in the way of severe weather, you can expect very strong winds across New England, Gusts could reach 50 to 60 miles per hour in some areas. There might be some light snow in the highest elevations of northern New Hampshire and Maine, but for most folks, it is just going to be a windy, chilly day. Looking even further out, Tuesday and Wednesday of next week could bring another round of severe weather to the Midwest and Ohio Valley. The storm track does not look particularly favorable for widespread severe weather, but tornadoes can still happen even in less than ideal setups, so we will be monitoring that closely. To wrap things up, today is a big weather day. If you are in the Deep South, especially Mississippi, Louisiana, and Alabama, the severe weather threat is serious. Make sure you have a way to receive warnings, know where your safe place is, and do not wait until the last minute to take action. For those of you in Colorado, the snow is going to continue through Wednesday, so plan on difficult travel and give yourself extra time if you absolutely have to be on the roads. Stay weather aware no matter where you are, and I will have another forecast for you tomorrow with the latest updates. Thank you for watching. We will see you in the next video.